Oh, can you hear us? Give us some time. Alright, looks like we are go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the SAT5 stream. We are just coming up right out of a match. I believe it was X-Cause versus B Fenris. In the commentary booth, we have a few new faces. You might know me. My name is Gabby Krela, and joining me in the VC today is gonna be the lovely Wilwam. Do mind, both of us are currently repping as we are commentating this match, so forgive us if the commentary is a little bit scuffy. Joining at the point where it seems as though Denzel actually is going to open up with the first pick on the board. Being the lower seeded player, that definitely is pretty solid. I mean, pretty significant. Having good momentum going in. I believe having even a break point to kickstart the match is definitely a position that you want to be in as a player 13 feet down. I think Denzel is very interesting as a player because you're looking at a player that is very tenured in the scene. Recently came back to the tournament scene, and in fact, I would say that honestly, their seeding is pretty deep-seeded. So going up, Sorasaki going up against a veteran, quote-unquote veteran such as Denzel, it's definitely going to be an uphill battle, and it makes this matchup a lot closer than you might first expect. But it looks like we are gonna get into our next map. I believe it's gonna be a Nomad 6. Is that right?
Nomad 5, I believe, here coming out from Danzel, the speedier map of the pool, and this map at this SR speed is pretty hard to come by, so I think this should be fairly comfortable for both these players if they're comfortable in this BPM, but it's still very early stage of the map. We'll just have to see how this pans out.
That's right. With that, we're gonna jump straight into the action. All about, I believe, these 10 BPM, vlog, very relatively intensive stream sections or burst sections for this SR. We're moving into the second quarter of the map, and Denzel is actually finding a huge accuracy deficit when compared to Sorasaki. Right now, holding that 99.4% and counting. Moving into the second third of the map, I mean, the lead is already a pretty insurmountable 100k just by nature of that accuracy lead. That 9% is so significant on a map as low SR as this, and I think we mentioned, right, it's very easy to get to lose track of the score lead. And with that miss from Denzel, it's gonna be even harder for them to claw back from this lead. The second half of the map, and Sorasaki reigns supreme.
Just look at that accuracy difference, right? You just see the level of comfortability Sorasaki has on this map, sitting all the way up there at 99%. Very impressive, even at this low SR. And, Danzel just not having any real comfort on that map, despite being able to hold that combo whole way through. And this is just going to be a very, very solid first point here for Sorasaki, taking Danzel's first pick here as a break point. Not what you want to see if you are on the side of Danzel here, but
it is what it is. An eye for an eye. Sorasaki immediately steals back that break point in extremely dominant fashion, and what a way to kickstart a match. And that is going to be it. A whopping 700k score lead for Sorasaki. That's definitely what you want to see. And right now we are at an equilibrium, both players relatively evenly matched. And I think this sets a good precedent going into the rest of the picks that we have, the rest of the phases that we'll see in this matchup. One sec, I'm going to check. Let me check mine real quick.
Yep, Sorasaki coming out with the Nomad 2 response here, and given how dominant you were on that Nomad 5, even though this Nomad 2 is lower in the BPM, this is a pretty solid pick, I think, coming out from Sorasaki. Denzel clearly struggling a lot with the tapping, especially in the accuracy department, and if you are comfortable on these sorts of tapping maps, you can just absolutely stomp your opponents. So not really surprising to see Sorasaki go with something like this.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they're gonna go back, and it seems Yeah, no, we're gonna jump straight back into the action. Oh my goodness, 1v1 tournaments. It's so fast. I love it. I love it. Yeah, back into the action, and we're gonna go for that 1-2 nomad 5 into nomad 2, feeling comfortable on the tapping. This nomad 2 is your cookie cutter bread and butter, you know, good mix of streams, good mix of flow in. This map really has everything, and a lot of this nomad pool is pretty standard. This nomad 2 is no exception. Denzel immediately finds an early miss, but still early days. However, Sorasaki is foregrounding that comfort when it comes to the tapping with an early SS.
I mean, yeah, we've seen this again. The accuracy lead of Sorasaki giving a very, very comfortable early advantage. And with the break of Danzel, it's going to be very, very hard for him to come back. I mean, this is exactly what we saw in the No Mod 5, right? Sorasaki just taking a very, very early accuracy lead despite Danzel having the early combo lead. And without any sort of combo in this map, I mean, it's still very early stages, but it might just be over for Danzel.
Yeah, no, the pressure really is on, and with that miss from Denzel, I mean, we still have halfway of the map to go, but once again, Sorasaki is just unrelenting in that SS halfway through, and he's still holding it. And as we get into the more, stamina-heavy sections of the map, I think there really isn't anything left for Denzel in order to claw their way back, a 270k score lead and counting. Only going to continue to play in favor of Sorasaki as Denzel continues to find those misses. As though Sorasaki definitely found their footing with this nomad 2. They found the pick that they need to, pull their lead, and hopefully they are in form for the rest of the map. And honestly, losing 2 points in a row from Denzel, despite having that first break point, really is not too great for the mental. They definitely need to find their footing. They need to sort of reprogram and try to look for something else in the pool, because it seems though Sorasaki has a monopoly over those tapping maps. As we get into the last 2 sliders, I think it's already light, camera, and over.
Absolutely, yeah. Just look at this absolutely dominant accuracy coming on the side of Sorasaki. 99.9% on this No Mod 2 right here. I mean, it is low SR, but still a very, very impressive performance. Just demonstrating the level of consistency on this SR from Sorasaki here. And that is just going to be up 2-0 for him. Moving into Danzel's response here.
Yeah, I'm definitely a bit apprehensive. I think Denzel still has some ways that they could go for another attack. I know Sorasaki isn't the most confident. They are the most confident, especially when it comes to tournament gimmicks. So I'm looking at maybe that hidden 2, maybe that hard rock 2 that Denzel could potentially go into. Looking more specifically into the hard rock, even though Sorasaki has a very strong number 1 score on hard rock 1, their hard rock 2 score is relatively lacking. And we in fact do see a hard rock pick, but this one is a hard rock 1 pick. Oh my goodness, balls of steel going to the qualifier number 1 hard rock 1 performer. That's what you want to see.
That is an absolutely ballsy pick right there from Danzel. And yeah, as you mentioned, Sorasaki, the number 1 seeded on the qualifiers Hard Rock 1. And it's kind of what carried their seeding all the way up to seed 10. So very, very bold to see a player like Danzel pick a map into a player like Sorasaki, right? I mean, the SR is definitely significantly lower, so, there is that sort of RNG factor, right? But, still very, very bold move, and I really don't know how this one will work out for Danzel, honestly.
I mean, you know what they say, Will, Lady Luck favors the bold, and if there's anyone that I think will be able to, take down this massive title on this Hard Rock 1, I think Denzel definitely has it in him. It's just gonna hinge on whether they're able to, get that combo on the board, because one thing that we know Sorasaki for is that incredible accuracy. But we're off to the races. Welcome to No Offense, a certified banger by Origami Angel.
Yeah, this Hard Rock 1 are going to be the first aim map we see of the pool. Hasn't really been touched at all, but I think both players are very, very proficient on the aim skill set, as we've seen it from the qualifier. So I don't think we will be seeing any super early breaks here, and it is just about who can hold those combos. And it looks like actually for the first time in this match, Danzel is the one leading in that accuracy department, giving them the early score advantage here, but it is still very, very early days.
That's right, we're back into the action, and this map is characterized by its consistency across the board. The aim-wise, it's very, very comfy for tapping sections, really testing your OD10 comfort. And for what it's worth right now, it's still very thin on the line, 8K separating these two players. And with the KI out of the way, we are back into the consistency sections of the map. Nobody giving an inch to either side, and the competition is on as we move into, you know, a much more chill section. But Denzel finding the miss on the boat, and that is not what you like to see. And Sorasaki races ahead with that 500 combo.
Danzel was looking so comfortable there with the higher accuracy lead, but with that combo break, that is instantly going to put it in the favor of Sorasaki, holding that comfortable combo lead. And you know, what do we expect from a player that's seeded #1 on the Hard Rock 1 in qualifiers, just super comfortable on a just generic style aim map like this, and he is just going to absolutely run away with this score lead now, almost 200k and climbing as we get into the last third of the map.
That's right, we're moving back into the focal section, and Sorasaki is holding that 800 combo. This is very akin to what the guy that we saw before, all about the normal A. The spinner comes in. We're in the last third of the map. The calm before the storm, the build up in the drums, but I think it's too late for any sort of comeback to be mustered up by Denzel, as Sorasaki aces all of the tapping methods into the final KI. Sorasaki finally goes down and the chase is on, but Denzel trades it up, and Sorasaki will be moving forward with a third point to his name.
He may find that break there at the end, but he has done more than enough to score that score lead. Almost 300k into this last section of the map, and it is just another absolutely dominant performance from Sorasaki. Honestly, like, look at the consistency of this man. Like, incredible scores on every single map of this match so far, and that's going to be securing another breakpoint to bring him up to 3-0.
Lady Luck can only take you so far, and it didn't seem to favor Denzel just enough this time. Sorasaki gonna hold that 266 score lead, and you know, we expected this. This was always going to be a ballsy pick, and I think despite that, Denzel did put up a very good fight. If the placement of the misses were any different, if Denzel was the one to miss slightly later in the map, I mean, that would have been his point. So that's it. I mean, congrats to Sorasaki for another point to his name, and we're gonna get back into the picks. I mean, Sorasaki looks like they want to go for. I cannot see that. Wait, let me zoom. Is this a no more one? Okay. Man, Sorasaki playing with the mechanics of OM.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, every single map has just been abusing that sort of mechanics, right? And it makes sense, right? This guy has just been so dominantly consistent throughout this match, winning every single point by a huge margin and just getting FCs or very, very close to FCs on all of these maps. So it is not very surprising that he wants to go into another consistency-based map like this Nomad 1. I mean, Nomad 1 is always a gamble, right? But when you're just as consistent as Sorasaki, you know, that's probably a gamble you're willing to take, right?
I think the confidence is what's really playing in Sorasaki's favor at this point. Spark Ignition is a map that demands, you know, absolute focus. It is the most standard aim pick in this pool, and I think given the momentum that Sorasaki has been generating with all of these mechanic victories over the mechanics maps, this definitely seems like a very rational pick, as rational as a normal one pick. Yeah, that jump straight into Spark Ignition. All gonna be about these bread and butter cookie cutter normal one base jump.
Yeah, this Nomad 1, bog standard Nomad 1 at this SR should be very, very comfortable for both of these players, and Sorasaki once again leading with that very, very solid accuracy lead. But, you know, if he managed to find that break, then Danzel could very well take this right back. But we've seen Sorasaki, how consistent he is as a player, and asking for that from a player like him might be a tall order.
Well, never say never. We are in the build-up. The energy is rising in this Nomad 1. And with this one div spike, the slider comes in and we are off to the races. The KI is in. The jumps are extremely spaced in this section, and both players are still neck and neck in the race for that lead. Sorasaki, as always, holding strong with that 99.6% act. But as we get into the tail end of the KI, it looks like neither side wants to give up this combo lead. Danzel looking a bit iffy on those aim patterns, but for what it's worth, a combo is a combo, and Danzel definitely has that.
Both players managing to claw their way through that first PI there. Both combos, both FCs still holding strong, but Sorasaki is just leading so much based off that accuracy. We've seen this throughout this match. His accuracy is just unbeatable. Streams catching no one out there. That's a big accuracy drop actually coming from both players, but the score lead just keeps going towards Sorasaki here, and we're gonna need to see a break very, very soon into this next PI here if Danzel wants a chance to come back.
That's right, it is still anybody's game. 800 combo is in the lobby right now, the last third of the match. Sorasaki is still not out of the clear. Danzel has a chance, but the window of opportunity is going to continue to close as you get closer and closer to the end of the map. They're in the slow section right now, the calm before the storm, but after this, it is full action into that final KI. Only silence filling the lobby as both players really trying to regain their composure, and composure is what you need on this kind of Nomad 1. 1K combo coming in from both players. If only they knew what was on the other side waiting for them. Last quarter madness, last KI magic. Let's see if Danzel's gonna be able to bring it back. Here we go. The jumps are in. Both players clocking in the largest maps of the jump, the largest maps of the pool. 1.1k, but Danzel is gonna be the one to follow. And with that, Sorasaki once again remains inevitable as they take this match to match point 99.06% FG. Nothing much more to say as the players getting out of this Nomad 1. 300k score lead in favor of Sorasaki Hina, and that is going to be a guaranteed match point on the board. From now on, Danzel is constantly going to be at the back foot going into any later section of this map. And with only I believe that is a ghost point. I don't think that is in fact a point for Danzel. So I think Sorasaki is now at a 4-0, threatening a sweep.
That is very, very scary, and if you are Danzel, and I think now is just gonna be the time where he has to whip out his protect. He still has that DT1 open, but you know, given how this match has gone with the absolute dominant consistency from Sorasaki, combined with that accuracy advantage, I don't know, this DT1 could certainly go either way.
Yep. My goodness, really, every sort of pick is going to be a tough one for Danzel from this point on, right? You not only have, you know, the onslaught and the momentum to deal with from Sorasaki, but you also, you know, don't really have a lot of picks. You've tried a lot of things. You've tried the hard rock, the mechanics, but Sorasaki has just constantly been denying it, despite the fact that OSR, the confidence is really the determining factor here.
Right. Yeah, just the absolute momentum that Sorasaki has, combined with just not really much else in the pool for Danzel to take advantage of. I mean, he really only relies on those hard rocks and DTs, so But yeah, we are going to be getting into this DT1 right now, the protect of Danzel, so hopefully he's feeling comfortable on it. And actually, Danzel does seem to be taking that slight early accuracy advantage here, but we are only just out of the gate. We will have to see what happens in this map.
Perhaps it's the above AR10 AR. I believe this is AR 10.2. This map with the slightly higher AR is really seeming to trip up Sorasaki more than it is tripping up Denzel. Oh, that's it. The scoreline is still flickering, and it's gonna be in the KI's. Let's jump straight into it right here. All about these 260 BPM aim patterns. It's gonna rely on the focus of these players to overcome them. A few egg drops coming in from Denzel right now, but it's still box standard, still anybody's game. 10k, 11k score lead, slightly favoring Sorasaki just by nature of the accuracy. But I believe there is going to be a few streams at the end. Might trip someone up, but as it stands right now, it is anyone's game.
Absolutely, yeah, these two players just so evenly matched on this map, and it is just going to be about who finds that combo break. They both make it out of that first PI unscathed, but again, we are just gonna have to wait and see who finds that first miss here on a map so consistent like this.
Right, still we are getting into the second, build up of the map. One the time in it, Sorasaki for the first time in this matchup is to be the one to fall first. Denzel now has full control of the score lead. It's the first time that we're seeing this kind of performance, and Denzel looking to run the extra mile, take it all the way. Last quarter of the map, Denzel needs the whole in order to score this lead. 100k score lead right now. That gonna continue to race towards the right side, and Denzel securely makes it out of that KI.
This is exactly what you want to see if you're on the side of Denzel. Built up that almost 200k score lead there, going into the last sixth of the map, and I don't really know if there's anything Sorasaki can do to come back from this. And Denzel may find the miss, but I do not think there is enough map left in the tank for Sorasaki to take any sort of advantage here, even with that accuracy lead. And it does look like Denzel, for the first time in this match, is going to be taking a point off Sorasaki here on this DT1 protect.
The protect definitely paid off. Denzel, it's not the end for him right now. Of course, any sort of comeback is gonna be a far ask from Denzel, but this is definitely going to be a start, and for what it's worth, it's not gonna be a sweep this time. Denzel with that GT1 pick, definitely pushing back against Sorasaki, but once again, Sorasaki has the entire pool, and GT1 is again one of those maps that is very, very RNG. It could definitely be just decided by that coin flip, and a coin flip this map was. Looks like, however, okay, go for it.
We are going to be seeing that hidden one come out from Sorasaki. His protect that is still open to the very end, and given that it is his protect, assumedly he's feeling very, very confident on this sort of map. I don't think Denzel is very, very known for that hidden consistency at all, and given how consistent Sorasaki has been across the entire map pool, I think it may be curtains for Danzel right here and now.
Yeah, Sorasaki not holding back whatsoever, looking to go for the kill right here, right now. It's gonna be Mrs. Green Apple start, a certified banger. This is a awkward aim hit one. We've been seeing a lot of aim maps. This is probably the most unique of the aim maps. This is all gonna be about that awkward aim, the weird angle changes, and all about those wide angles as well. And Denzel with that first miss is gonna be on the back foot. Sorasaki, however, both finding misses, which potentially suggests that there's a level of confidence, or a lack of confidence begin from both these players on this hidden one. Oh my goodness. We're gonna get into the first PI.
And yeah, as we get into this first PI here, I want to mention the significant accuracy difference that Sorasaki has over Danzel here. Even though they are both finding misses, Danzel finding another miss there into that first PI. Sorasaki just having this absolute comfort on the hidden modification, which Danzel just doesn't seem to have, given by how many misses he's finding, and also the accuracy deficit, which is just going to give the score advantage firmly in Sorasaki's favor as we get out of this first KI.
Right, that early lead is significant for Sorasaki, having the accuracy and the combo in his hands, and Denzel continues to find misses. I mean, it's pretty early in the map, but that scoreline is gonna go exponentially in favor of Sorasaki. Denzel just being thrown off the tempo and constantly having to play on the back foot of Sorasaki. Sorasaki does find a miss, however, and we're getting into the 1-2 of the map, but it's just not enough. It's just not enough, Will Webb.
No, it really isn't. That accuracy deficit from Danzel just unfortunately not giving any space to claw back the score lead at all. I mean, even though there is only 100k in the tank, we are already halfway with no real sign of recovery from the side of Danzel. Sorasaki actually consistently finding breaks here in this tricky awkward aim section with the 1-2s, but it's just not going to be enough as Danzel finds that break there.
Into the last section of this map, and it is so incredibly rough. I mean, Denzel cannot put a fight. Sorasaki extra fight that safety net through and through is just gonna consistently play in favor of Sorasaki. I think with that, we're in the last quarter of the map, and I don't think there's anything Denzel can do at this juncture, or at least nothing that Sorasaki is gonna let slip through the cracks.
No, I do not think so either. Even if, as we get into this last section of the map here, another KI here, I just don't think it's going to be enough for Danzel to do anything here. And Sorasaki just has that safety net, as you mentioned, has that combo lead, has a very, very solid score lead. I just think he's going to be taking this point very, very securely to win this match right here and now.
Yeah, and with that, that's going to be the final nail in the coffin. Sorasaki will be securing a victory, a 5-1 dominant victory over danzelsiew on this round of 32 matchup. It's honestly unfortunate. It seemed as though, Denzel really struggled to find his pace in the matchup, and Sorasaki just took that lead, took that momentum, and ran a mile with it. Congratulations once again to Sorasaki, Hina. Whew. Yeah. And with that, that will conclude the end of this matchup. I can't quite remember if we have anything. I can't quite remember if we have anything coming up. I'm just gonna do a quick check on the Chronos head. But it seems as though at 11 p.m. we're going to be having a 2 matchups. In fact, I believe it's going to be Zenden and Wakumi and a friend light and versus Yomo, my beloved. I believe the one that's getting screened is going to be the Zenden versus Wakumi match. So do stick around if you are interested in checking out. But until then, we're going to take a quick 20-minute break before we're back into the action. This has been the Singapore Amateur Tournament 5. My name has been Jamie Crayola. His name was Will. And please shout out to the streamer. We all love BTRC or like on my husband. Shout out to him for being our lovely streamer. But I think until then, we're gonna head out for a bit. We'll be right back into SAT5. We'll see you guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.